And we go now to the grid for the final race of the night, the second reverse grid sprint race for round 3 of the Missed Apex iRacing F3 Cup. And it will be Adrian Clark on pole position for this one, with John McClintock alongside him, Alexander Dobbelsberger and Matt Trumpets on row 3, then Colin Ward and John Langan on row 3, and Alexandros Marifkani and Ishmael Basso on row 4, Lucas Raskowitz and Jose O'Donnell on row 5, then Richard Molden and James Braid, followed by Richard Spanos-Ready and Luke Power on row 7, Tim Ellis and Danny Henney on row 8, Stephen Williams and Kyle Power on row 9, and Alex Van Gien and Alex Johnsma as our top 2 from the last race are starting 19th and 20th. And incidentally, James Wingfield, our pole sitter from the previous race, starting in 21st in car number 21 as well. Red lights are on and we're about to get underway for the final race of the night at the Hungaroring. Away we go, and Adrian Clark leads the field away. He's had a very good start from pole position, and it's Colin Ward actually who's steaming down the middle, trying to get past Dobbelsberger, but Dobbelsberger chops the nose and is going to try and find himself into the lead. He's in the middle, but he's gone around into second place. Can he take the lead as well? Clark runs out a little bit wide, and Dobbelsberger is challenging him side by side down towards turn 2. Clark has the line and Dobbelsberger forced the long way around. He tucks in behind him, but Clark goes wide on the exit of the corner. Nothing Dobbelsberger can do with that though. Clark runs out wide once again, as does Colin Ward. He's emerged in third place there, and Dobbelsberger side by side with Clark, and he's in the lead. So he got a brilliant run out of turn 3, takes the lead by the time they get into 4, and Clark really struggling now, because here comes Colin Ward going all the way around the outside off the circuit, but trying to take second place away from our pole sitter. Surely not going to go all the way around the outside of the chicane, and he does not, decides not to do so. So John McClintock tucking in behind him as well. He's in 4th place ahead of Langan, who caused quite a bit of drama for some of our leaders in the previous race. Ward there waiting for an opportunity to pounce on Clark. Then we can see Danny Henney and Kyle Power. They've safely made their way through the pack on the opening lap. Clark runs out wide once again, and this time Ward draws an overlap through into the penultimate corner, goes the long way around and emerges in second place. So Colin Ward up into second place at the end of lap 1. Alexander Dobbelsberger leads out to that final corner by almost 2 seconds at the end of the first lap to Colin Ward, then Adrian Clark and John McClintock in 4th place. Then comes John Langan and Danny Henney up in 6th place. Ishmael Basso in 7th, then Jose O'Donnell, Kyle Power in 9th, and Matt Trumpets the top 10 at the moment. And Danny Henney making a move towards the inside there. We see in the back of shot on John Langan. That's for 5th place. They're side by side as they head down towards turn 2. Langan will have the line, but Henney will try and brave it out around the outside. Can he just keep his car alongside? Yes, he can. And with the line into turn 3, Langan is not taking this sitting down, though, at all. Like we saw in the previous race, he is definitely keeping his elbows out no matter who he's racing. So Henney has to wait another lap before he can make his move into 5th place. See Jose O'Donnell and Kyle Power sitting in just behind them as well. Basso and Raskowitz in this train of cars, because Raskowitz made his way into the top 10, demoting Matt Trumpets. Stephen Williams has come up through as well. He's in 12th place. Drillsma, our previous race winner, is in 13th as well. And Luca Harrison, crucially, is clean away this time. He had contact with Mike Stoner in the previous race. That's why he was so far down the order. And Stoner has held his hands up and said it was his fault. Here he is making a move on James Wingfield down into turn 12. That's another place gain. That's 15th place for Luca Harrison now. And he is definitely on the back foot, trying to regain some points after 2 incidents in the 2 races we've had so far tonight. Going into this race as the championship leader, and I think it's safe to say he will not be leaving as the championship leader. Still a long way to go. Colin Ward briefly had the fastest lap of the race there in second place, but that honour, of course, then went to Danny Henney, who has indeed dispatched of John Langan and now sits in 5th place. We did that somewhere else on that previous lap. We're on lap 3 of 11, and now it's Kyle Power trying to make his way through on that blue and silver number 14 car. Rising up the hill, and no way through for Power here. We see that battle for second place still going on. So Clark really struggling in the early stages of the race, particularly that opening lap, but he's not falling away from Ward as quickly as I would have thought, just by judging with what ease Ward was able to just go around the outside of him on the opening lap. Clark much happier now their tyres are up to temperature, it seems. Also got John McClintock between him and Danny Henney, who's now storming onto the scene in 5th place there, and McClintock out wide a little bit through turn 11. Is that an opportunity for Henney to come through on the inside? You bet it is. Can't quite make the move stick though, as McClintock was able to just carry the momentum around the outside, so Henney's got to wait through the next couple of corners. And surely will make his move down into turn 1. See the much tighter line he takes to try and stay out of the dirty air, and I think McClintock actually didn't want to go for the apex. He wasn't sure quite how far alongside Henney was going to be. So once again, Ward and Henney exchanging fastest laps, and this time Henney with the line down into turn 1, and nothing McClintock can do to repel his advances. And unlike we saw in the previous race with Henney, no rebuttal this time from the car that he is trying to pass. Although McClintock looking down the inside into turn 2, Henney has to give him a bit of space. But nothing McClintock can do to try and regain the place. You see Kyle Power still looking at the back of John Langen's car. So we've now got 2 cars between him and Danny Henney. The man he fought so hard for the title last season. It's a very different kettle of fish in this season. As we see, we've got a bit of lap traffic to contend with as well. But keeping well out of the way. Good job done there. And here we see Power, much more speed through the right-hander there, and surely he'll be pouncing on Langen at any moment. Not quite able to carry the speed he wanted through the right-hander at turn 11. He's going to have to wait a couple more corners to try and make his move. We know Langen has been a very aggressive defender. He doesn't care who he's racing really. If you're the 3-time champion, if you're the man leading the championship at the moment, he will find a way to try and keep you at bay. Danny Henney, meanwhile, looks like he's about to make his move for the podium in 3rd place. He's right on the back of Clark, and it's going to be for the 2nd lap in a row. Henney on the inside, and makes up another place. This time it's for the podium. Runs out a little bit wide, but no dramas, and he's now on to the podium places. No doubt he'll have a run at Ward for 2nd place very shortly. Then it's a 5-second gap to our race leader Alex Dobbelsberger, who is hauling in the lap times at the moment, just on the fastest lap of the race on a 35.9. If he was doing 50s, that would be very worrying, but no, 35.9, fastest lap of the race last time around. 4.5 seconds to the good on Colin Ward, who has a 2nd in turn over Henney. It seems like Langen's had a drama somewhere early in this lap, because Power's up into 6th place. And actually can't see Langen on my timing screen at the moment. There he is, all the way down in 25th place. So he's had a drama somewhere, and that's unleashed the rest of the pack, and Power is the man on the move now. He's got McClintock in front of him here. McClintock was proving an easier pass than Langen for Henney. Let's see if it'll be the case for Power as they just come around that final corner now. Both taking the wide line, trying to get the car straightened up as early as possible for the run down the straight. Already on lap 6 of 11, so beyond the halfway point. And Power looks like he's not going to be close enough for a move into turn 1 this time around. Very good on the brakes though was Power there. He closed up massively. Can't do anything with it though, so he's got to wait just a little bit more. And this is what we were talking about. The difficulty with the overtaking was always going to make it a challenge for these guys to try and get through the pack. I'll tell you who's had a cracking couple of laps. It's Luca Harrison up in 9th place now. So he's made up a number of spots since we last checked. He was in 15th last time we looked, so that's a cracking job done by him. And as we mentioned, he's really trying to save at every point possible. I think this still likely will be his drop score round. Obviously, it depends how the next 2 rounds go, but of the 3 we've done so far, I believe this will be the drop, given that he's had 2 incidents in the 2 races we've had so far. One that the other driver has admitted to. The other one, jury's still out on that one, I think. Oh, and Power now for 6th place. Looks like he's making his move. He's gone through into 5th place there, and he's chopped the nose of McClintock, so he's through. He did that down into the right-hander of turn 12. And meanwhile, Danny Henney now challenging for 2nd place. Ward swings it to the inside, down towards turn 1. He's really trying not to give Henney the inside line, but Henney very good on the brakes, going all the way around the outside, locking up, but side by side on the exit now, and Henney will have the inside line for turn 2 as well. So Ward may well find his defensive 2nd place is coming to an end here. Henney through into 2nd place. 7.1 seconds is the gap to Alex Dobertsberger, and 3.5 laps to do in. I think even for Danny Henney, that is just a little too far out of reach. So it looks like it's going to be 2nd place for Danny Henney if he keeps this pace up. And what would be his 4th podium finish of the season. Obviously just missed out on the podium in that last race, battling with Stephen Williams. So up in 2nd place now. And of course the question is, can Power make his way onto the podium? He's 1.2 seconds back from Adrian Clark, and he'll have 2 cars to pass in the remaining 4 laps of the race. I'll say everyone's been extremely well behaved in this race so far. Normally you see race 3 is the incredibly dramatic one, but all doing very well so far. Now here is Luca Harrison. He's made up another spot already into 8th, and he's going to go for another one here because Lucas Raskowitz is in sight and doing the fastest lap of the race as well. Harrison is a man on a mission down the inside into turn 1, and Harrison makes up the place, gets through into 7th place, and now they were having to avoid a car there. Is that a back marker? For a second I thought it was John McClintock because it was a very similar liveried car, but I believe it was a back marker. So that is 7th place for Harrison, and look at that, he's already on the back of McClintock for 6th. Harrison we've seen, oh look at this, he's going down the inside. Oh brilliant, so 2 places gained in just a couple of corners here for Luca Harrison, and he is driving an exquisite race at the moment. And just think back to that epic battle he had with Luke Power in the opening race of the night. He has been on fine form this season. That is why he was leading the championship before this event tonight. He's been a little bit unlucky, but he's making sure he makes up for it with every single point possible. And look at that, his nearest title rival is the next man up the road. That's going to be a bit more incentive for Power to try and get past these cars now. So he's closed up on Adrian Clark, but he still doesn't seem to be in a position to attack down into turn 1 unless Clark makes a mistake on the exit of this final corner. We've seen a very scruffy opening lap from Adrian Clark, but he's really gathered it up now. 3 laps to go as we're on lap 9 of 11, and still there's going to be no way through for Power here. Another fastest lap on the race from Luca Harrison, a 35.6. Closed down Power there, despite making 2 overtakes by 0.6 of a second. Power still just closing on the back of Clark's car. There was a little puff of tyre smoke down in towards turn 2, but nothing too dramatic. Power here, you see how much confidence he has through turn 4. Clark taking a much narrower line into 5, and this is going to be frustrating for Power because, he's got to run though. He's got to run. He's using it. Up the inside he goes, and that was very opportunistic from Kyle Power there. Up into 4th place. So he's put a car between himself and Harrison, but Harrison is already trying to pass him because he's side by side with him, and he's right on the gearbox now of that number 107 car that is currently leading the silver class standings. And McClintock in 2nd as well, it must be said, looking towards the inside there, but Clark's gone deep into the corner, and Harrison surely is going to go through here. They're side by side towards the penultimate corner, and just like Ward did on the opening lap, Harrison sails around the outside and picks up 5th place there. So minimal time loss there for Harrison compared to Power in passing Clark there. It's still 1.4 seconds with 2 laps to go. Harrison, he's had a fantastic drive, up in 5th place now and closing down the gap to Kyle Power, who's now got 1.2 seconds to Colin Ward. So maybe the podium is just a snag out of reach with 2 laps to go. Lead gap is pretty static, by the way, actually still 7.5 seconds. They were lapping within a 1/10 of each other with Dobbelsberger and Henny last time round, so I think Henny's just in bring it home mode. He knows he's not going to close down that gap with such little time left in the race. And Henny with finally with a clean weekend under his belt. This is just what he needed for his championship, because it has been a difficult slog with multiple incidents in the sprint races, and of course that drive-through penalty for the jump start. His championship got off to the worst possible start imaginable. And finally, as we approach the halfway mark of the championship, it's starting to come together for him now. 1 lap to go as Dobbelsberger just comes across the line and starts that final lap. The white flag has gone out. Here's Kyle Power, and do you know what? If I was Kyle Power, I'd stop worrying about Colin Ward in front, and I'd start worrying about Luca Harrison behind, because only half a second separated them as they came out of that final corner. It's another fastest lap of the race from Harrison, a 35.1 this time, 9/10 of a second quicker than what Power did on lap 10. And I think a little mistake here from Power could well give Harrison the position, and they know they're fighting for this championship, so Power will really want to keep Harrison at bay. These 3 cars separated by 1.4 seconds at the moment. Virtually nothing in it. See Harrison still wringing the neck of that car, pushing the back end out through turn 5. I'll tell you, it's scary sometimes watching him as he gets it all over the grass, but gathers it up nicely. Oh, I think just bring it home, Luca. Just bring it home. Oh, there's a bit of rallycross style action there from Luca Harrison for a little bit. That was well held indeed. Meanwhile, here is Alexander Dobbelsberger coming round the final couple of corners now. He's taken 4 wins in his time in the F3 Cup, but this will be his first of the season, and indeed his first podium finish as well. Alexander Dobbelsberger wins the sprint race for round 3 of the Missed Apex iRacing F3 Cup, and Danny Henny will complete a much needed, clean and super quick weekend in second place, with Colin Ward completing the podium. And let's see if we can have a word with our race winner. So Alexander Dobbelsberger, we've brought you into the commentary box. That is your first win of the season, and indeed your first podium as well.
Yeah, well, it was a tough race. I knew the fast guys were coming from behind, and I already saw Danny in lap 2 in my relative, so I had to push for the whole race to keep him behind.
Yeah, it seemed like you were really close on the lap times there, and I feel like it's been a while since we've had you in the commentary box talking about a race win. What made the difference here?
Well, mostly the starting position. I was P20 in the second race because I had a few problems, so I could really just put in my laps and make up the difference to the faster guys.
Well, it worked out a treat. And were you constantly looking at the lap times between you and Danny in that race?
Yeah, I knew if he would come through behind me and he's just 2 or 3 seconds behind me, he will catch me. So I was really trying to create a gap before he's coming through in P2. So yeah.
Well, you did a cracking job of it, and that was a great display for us. Congratulations on your first win of the season.
Thank you very much.
Wow, what a night of action. It's been absolutely hectic from start to finish. And, we were worried that, maybe it's not going to be the most entertaining race because it's so difficult to overtake. Absolute squashed that particular comment. So Alexander Dobbelsberger takes his first victory of the season, and Danny Henny takes his 4th podium of the season in 2nd place, with Colin Ward making it onto the podium for what I believe is the first time this season. Indeed it is. In fact, that's only his 2nd ever podium finish. Kyle Power in 4th, crucially ahead of his title rival Luca Harrison there. Adrian Clark in 6th and taking the silver class honours. Stephen Williams and Lucas Raskovitz. Then Tim Ellis and Ishmael Basso in the top 10. Alex Smith in 11th there, ahead of Richard Molden. James Wingfield in 13th. Andrew Sexton and Alex Johnsma, our race 2 winner, only made it up to 15th in the end. Taro Tylus, the silver championship leader going into this one, in 16th. Ivan Anderson, James Braid, Stefan Froelich, Colton Myers and Brian Dudkowski in the top 20. And that is your lot from the Hungaroring. And in fact, that is it for this year. So after what has been a very hectic year for the Missed Apex Motorsport and our esports team, starting out with the Marlin Memorial Cup all the way back in January, the 12-hour of Silverstone, and a number of F3 Cup rounds as well, including all of Season 5 and the start of Season 6. My thanks have to go out to Richard Molden, Sam Watley for all the work they've been doing, to all the drivers who have taken part. I know Kyle Power is putting a lot of effort into making this happen as well. Steve Amy, who has been my partner in crime on the broadcast throughout this entire year, and to everyone who shared the commentary box with me as well. It has been a joy to bring you the Missed Apex esports action over this year. But the season will continue in the new year at Spa-Francorchamps on the 14th of January. But from all of us here at Missed Apex Motorsport, thank you very much for joining us in 2022, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. We'll see you in 2023.